as eloquent or as passionate as Joe Maxwell is, who's a man who stood on the floor of the Senate and made all kinds of arguments, very good speaker who can cite history. But there were some things that he said which resonate just with Amendment 7, just as they do with Amendment 1. And that is the idea that money is driving an issue which shortchanges many people in the state for the benefit of a few. He mentioned it in passing, and I'm only going to talk a little bit about it later in the discussion because I'm speaking to you tonight wearing two hats. One is, as Carolyn said, I'm a member of the Sierra Club. And the Sierra Club has come out against Amendment 7 on the grounds that it will contribute to urban sprawl, increased pollution, and diseases, medical conditions like asthma. It does very little for the environment. There's a bit of money in the projects that help public transit, but nowhere near the amount that is actually needed. Indirectly, Amendment 7 subsidizes gas guzzlers. Here in our country, we're supposed to be trying to conserve fuel for the environment. With Amendment 7, we're actually subsidizing people because we're making a radical shift in how we're going to finance roads. Ever since Missouri began building highways, they've been financed with user fees, and that's the motor fuel tax. Currently in Missouri, it's 17 cents per gallon. It hasn't been increased since the 90s. It's about the fourth or fifth lowest fuel tax in the country. It's lower than all of our neighbors with the exception of Oklahoma. And if you've ever been to the state capitol in Oklahoma, you'll see oil derricks on the Capitol campus. So you know who's king in the state of Oklahoma. But even theirs is just a little bit lower than Missouri's. I mean, they're pretty close. If we raise the motor fuel tax in Missouri to the national average, we come up with about 3/4 of the amount of money that this sales tax would raise if it's passed. Now, I'm not taking issue with the idea that maybe we need some more money for roads. I'm not arguing that. I'm arguing the way we get the money with this proposal. As I said, we've always relied on user fees, the motor fuel tax. When they ran a little short of money in the highway fund, they diverted sales tax money that people paid to buy cars to the road fund as a way of boosting the road fund. The idea that the road fund now must turn to some poor person in the city of St. Louis who does not have a car, or if they do, they don't drive it very much, is just outrageous to me. And it approaches the kind of condition that Joe Maxwell was talking about the ridiculousness of the situation. A truck going across the state would pay nothing more to use our roads. It may not originate in our state, it may not be making a delivery in our state, and it's not going to pay any more for using the roads, while some person in the city of St. Louis is paying more to buy the essentials of life. Not groceries, not drugs. They are exempted. Diapers, any over-the-counter medicines you're getting at the pharmacy, pair of shoes, you name it, you're going to be paying more while the truckers are riding on our roads. They don't even pay sales tax on the purchase of their trucks. They got an exemption for a certain big truck. Now, you buy your Ford F-150 or 250 or whatever, you're going to pay the sales tax. But if you buy an over-the-road commercial vehicle, you don't pay sales tax in Missouri on that purchase. Repair parts, you don't pay sales tax on that. So the other hat I'm wearing, in addition to the Sierra Club hat, is a group called Missourians for Better Transportation Solutions. Similar to the group that's formed a coalition against Amendment 1, our group is also a coalition of people that oppose this unfair amendment for many different reasons. The Sierra Club is against it because of what it does to the environment. The urban sprawl, more pollution, contributes to global warming, does nothing to conserve fuel. Missouri Association for Social Welfare, against it because it's unfair to people. The middle class, poor people pay more, while the over-the-road truckers are not going to be hurt by this. We were fortunate to just recently be notified that the St. Louis County Municipal League is on our side. And it's contributing money for the reason being that for many years, cities have counted on sales taxes to finance their local needs. All of a sudden, the state is muscling in on that piece of revenue, using a state sales tax to suddenly starting to finance roads. Never been done before. Cities have done it. Cities have done sales taxes for a number of reasons, but the idea that now we're going to have a state sales tax for roads makes it all the more difficult for cities to rely on sales taxes to finance their local services. There are going to be parts of Missouri where the sales tax will exceed 11% in Branson, and in some places where there are special taxing districts, the tax is going to be 10, 11%. If people are worried about if a retailer is worried about an online purchase being made by somebody who's worried about paying more sales tax, they're going to be more so concerned should this pass, because at some point there's got to be a limit that people will no longer pay. So these are the coalitions or the members who have joined in. As Joe said on Amendment 1, the League of Women Voters of Missouri is also coming on our side. Elaine Blodgett here in town recently had a statement saying that the League of Women Voters, a good government group, opposes Amendment 7. You know, it's got to be interesting when Governor Jay Nixon, who's all about jobs, comes out against Amendment 7, which he has. So the idea that it's going to be good for economic development is not an argument that washes with him. At the same time, I just saw today that Catherine Hanaway, a woman who's a Republican or wants to run for governor of Missouri, is against it as well. So here you have people on both sides of the political aisle coming out against Amendment 7. Our group is not well funded. Put that out there. The other side has $2-3 million ready to put ads out. They have some ads in St. Louis and Kansas City now. They've been on the radio, and they're almost totally funded by people who will make money from the passage of Amendment 7. Heavy contractors, asphalt companies, engineers who are going to design the roads. Those of us who are against it have no financial stake in it other than the fact that we just don't think it's fair. We don't think it's good public policy. Some parts of the state might endorse it, but only because of some parochial interest. They're going to get some road or some bridge or some trail or something they want, and they have basically been co-opted or bought off by the Missouri Department of Highways that is offering these projects in hopes of getting somebody to support them. So what we're doing as a coalition is we are working the social media, writing letters to the editor, using the news media to get out our arguments, I wrote an op-ed page piece in the Tribune on Sunday. Other members of our organization are doing the same thing, writing letters to the editor, working Facebook like crazy, a lot of Twitters, a lot of comments when somebody writes something about Amendment 7 online. Our members